All right, so now we're going to reset the error boundary, and you might be wondering, well, why do we need to reset it? It seems to be working just fine, right? So I just make a typo, and then I click here, and it looks like it's being reset just fine. But let's take a deeper look at this. If you watch really carefully, I don't know if the frame rate's going to be fast enough for you, but if you watch carefully on your own computer, you'll notice that we see submit a Pokemon right here when I click on here. Watch, boom. Did you see it? Just like a fraction of a second, it showed up submit a Pokemon. If you didn't see it, then just trust me, it's there. So what's going on here is when we set this key, every single time we change the Pokemon name, it's going to completely unmount this error boundary, which in turn unmounts the Pokemon info, and then it's going to mount a new instance of each of these elements. That's how the key works. And so we'll see that submit a Pokemon show up for every single Pokemon that we put in here. Not only when the error boundary has an error, but also every time we change that Pokemon name, because we're changing the key, therefore unmounting and remounting both of these. And then when this gets mounted, we take a look at the Pokemon info component, we initialize our status to idle. And when the status is idle, it's going to say submit a Pokemon. And then immediately we have our use effect run. And here we're going to check if there's no Pokemon name. And if there's not, then we'll just return. But there is a Pokemon name. So then we set it to pending. And then we get a re-render to show the pending. So for that brief moment in time, we get that submit a Pokemon right there. So this problem actually can be solved pretty easily by just initializing our status to whether or not we have a Pokemon name. If we do, then we'll say pending. Otherwise, we'll set it to idle. And now this problem just totally goes away. So we go Pokemon for Pikachu and then Charizard. We no longer get that idle state at all. And if we do get an error state, then we can recover from that. And we don't see that submit a Pokemon because that Pokemon name is being passed. And we're initializing this new Pokemon info component instance with a pending status rather than an idle status. But that's actually just kind of working around the problem. Don't get me wrong, it's a legitimate solution. We're going to keep this, but the core problem still exists where we're completely unmounting this Pokemon info component and remounting it every single time we change the Pokemon name. Now, I want it to unmount and remount when we have an error because that's a totally different situation. But if we're just switching the props, I don't want that to unmount and remount every single time. So that's a waste and I don't want to deal with that. So we're going to fix this by using some of the features that React Error Boundary has built in. And that specifically is that our error fallback gets rendered with the props error and reset error boundary. So this we can explicitly reset the state without having to unmount and remount this component. So I'm going to get rid of that key and we're going to use this reset error boundary and add a button where on click calls reset error boundary. And in here, we'll just say, try again. And now if I go to Pikachu, and then we misspell Pikachu here, we're going to get that error state. We'll get this try again button. We'll click on that. And oh, we've got that error state again. So I guess we'll have to change it to Charizard and then try again. And okay, cool. There we are. But it's kind of unfortunate that we have to change it to Charizard first and then click try again. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add an on reset prop here, and our error boundary will call on reset when it is reset. So then I can handle reset here, and I'll say handle reset. We'll set the Pokemon name to an empty string. And with that, I can say whatever. We get that error state. I click try again, and it resets everything, so I'm ready to move on. So in review, all that we did here was first we fixed this problem where we were showing a flash of this idle state saying submit a Pokemon. If we know that we're going to immediately start loading a Pokemon, we just may as well initialize this status with pending. But then we fixed the underlying problem by removing the key prop from the error boundary and instead using the API that the error boundary exposes to our error fallback component, where we can reset the error boundary state, and then we can be notified when that state has been reset to fix our UI state as well, so we're in a good place for our users to continue using our app.